and we'll hand you a test, and we're going to go over that during the break. Um, at this time, we're going to start with Colossians 3, verse 17.
Colossians 3 and 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him, by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the Wadatam Yad, Amen.
All right. So let's get to Exodus. Before we actually start Exodus 1 and 1, I'm going to read a little bit of the history of Exodus. So we can have a foundation of what we're reading. A little recap before I read this. So where are we now? Where's Israel now? Where are we? We're in Egypt. Where in Egypt are we? Where? Goshen. Goshen. We're in Goshen. What is our conditions in Goshen? Are we a free people? Are we a bonded people? Are we, what are we? We're free people, right? We are citizens of Egypt. Everybody understand that? All right. So we're a different nation, but we're citizens of Egypt in Goshen. All right. Who just passed away? Joseph. What was Joseph's position in Egypt? Second in command, right? They call him a governor, yes, but he was second in command. All right, so he was a big man in Egypt. He just passed away. Okay, he's the one that got us into Egypt. Khan, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be dwelling in Goshen. It was the love that they had for Joseph that allowed us passage into Egypt and to able to occupy the area of Goshen. Okay. So now we're getting into Exodus. Date written between 1450 to 1400 BC. Okay. Of Goshen, Exodus. It's depicting that time period. All right. So it's about 1400 years, 1450 years, 1500 years before the Mashiach was on the scene. All right. Everybody understand that? That's what that date is representing. How many years before Yahushua? Okay. So it's about 1450 years prior to Mashiach coming on the scene. Being born through Joseph and Mary. All right. Time span, approximately 431 years. The period of time which from the arrival of Jacob in Egypt to the what's that? Okay. To the construction of the tabernacle in the wilderness is approximately 431 years. Okay. The word Exodus means exit or departure. Who's the author of Exodus? Who knows? Who wrote Exodus? Everybody should be answering that question. It's kind of scaring me right now. All right, Marsha. All right. All right. Who was Exodus written to? Okay. To the children of Israel, to us. That's right. Okay. I think that's it. We'll go into the book now. Just some brief understandings of Exodus. All right. So Exodus 1 and 1.
Exodus 1 verse 1. Mm-hmm. Now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Mm-hmm. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Yehoiada. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.
Right.
And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. But Joseph was in Egypt already.
Right.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly mighty. And the land was filled with them.
Right. So what happened with Israel? We had. What does it mean that we were fruitful? What does that mean? What does that mean? We had a lot of children. Okay. A lot of children compared to the Egyptians. In so much that you could compare, as the two nations are side by side, they're watching our growth factor, right? 10 times their growth factor. You know what I mean? So our people were excelling and growing at a rapid pace. All right, read on.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
Read that, which what?
Which knew not Joseph.
So a new king rise up in Egypt, a new regime, right? New officer coming to town in Egypt. He didn't know Joseph. Meaning that, he learned of Joseph like everybody else, but he didn't know Joseph. Meaning that he didn't meet Joseph. He wasn't living in the time to say, oh, I know. Of course, it was the writings of Joseph was all about. All right. Read on.
And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
So now, we went from being, how many came into with Jacob? 70 souls. You had the whole kingdom of Egypt that was there. In this span of time, he's looking at us and like, yo, it's almost more than them than us. To show you how fast we was growing as a people. The Egyptians having children too, but not like the Israelites. Okay. Read on.
But Esau put something in place right now that you see the same thing reoccurring. It's called that depopulation control.
Right.
You understand? So they realize in a certain amount of years that they're going to become the minority. So we see history repeating itself all over again. Okay. The 10th verse. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when they fall out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
Right. So what? They was scared that we'd align ourselves with one of these other nations that they fight against. But the Egyptians used to war against these other nations as well, protect their borders against Moab and Demon and all them. They used to protect their borders against these other nations, right? Right. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You ever seen an overthrow when the places get overthrown? Right? That was common sense that was coming in that king's mind. Like, hold on. They're not our people. They're not our people. See, we've been overthrown so long, we don't know what it is to have borders. Okay? Because we've been behind somebody else's border for so many generations. But anybody that has a border worries about somebody overthrowing their land, their place. It's like if you went to your house, right? And you had some guests come over, right? And you lived there and your guests, and one person, okay. And they bring somebody else, right? Next thing you know, 4 of them up in there, right? Things start moving around in your house. Next thing you know, you the minority in there. You ready to call 911. Because you're like, yo, these cats took over my house, right? I was running this place. I'm not running it anymore. So this is the thought of the Egyptian king. Like, wait a minute. These guys are growing so fast. Everywhere I go, I'm seeing them. What happens if they decide to say, you know what? We ain't listening to these Egyptians anymore. You are the authority, but we're the majority. You might be the authority, but we the majority. We taking over. We've seen that many times in history where the masses take over the authority. So this is what he was thinking about. It was common sense thought. All right. Somebody raise their hand on this side. I saw a hand going up. Okay.
But Esau's got a passive takeover. They call it gentrification. You see, like I just got back from Brooklyn, from New York, and you see how Esau just come and taking over. Homosexuality is on a rampage. You know, back in the day, you couldn't dare walk down the street holding a hand with another man. Now it's like they kissing, hugging, you know, holding hands. Okay, so we see how history is repeating itself, but they have come with this modern, you know, way of just smoothly putting it in without any aggression. So you just accept it. Because now when our people see these other nations moving to the community, they look at it as what? As something big, like, you know, it's something beneficial for the community. Like, you know, but as you can see, like costs have gone up. Like we go and buying groceries, all kind of stuff in our communities now. That gentrification took place. I had a friend that had a barbershop actually on Flatbush, right across the street from the Barclays Center. And one time he was paying $5,000 a month for rent. When the Barclays Center moved in, they doubled it to $10,000. So he had to, you know, obviously he had to give up the shop. But a lot of those places that were in that area subsequently had to leave. But okay, so now just like we're reading that, what? Of course, like the sister asked that question, why would they think that we would be an enemy? Why? Because we're there. Okay, just like the other nations feel like when this kingdom falls down that they're going to be the next superpower,
right? Not
knowing that we're the ones that have next. Okay. Everybody sees a future for their own nation except our people. Okay, we constantly doing street ministry. Everybody wants to save the other nations. No one cares about their neighbor. Okay, but they want to see a bright future for the white man and the other nations. Okay, so we see this gentrification. Even I was watching a video with Gorilla Hebrew last week, and he was interviewing Esau when they went to Little Haiti. Okay, how Esau is moving in these areas. Okay. Buying up the real estate, just move it in, okay, right under your nose. But we look at it as something, wow, this is beautiful for the neighborhood. You understand? But they're bringing in all their, you know, filthy ways. They're seducing our people, okay. But they call it a different name. This is what you call a passive takeover, right? Okay, it's a gentrification is a passive takeover. All right. So we're back in the 11th verse, Exodus 1:11. Therefore, they did set over themselves taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. Right. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
So what they gave them? More jobs, right? More companies, and everybody got to get employed. Now you have to be employed. You have to work for Egypt. You have to build our cities. So he said taskmasters over them, to afflict them with all their burdens, to give them more work, keep you working, keep you busy building. Why? Because they know that was a way to what? Keep you separated, keep you docile, keep you in a submissive state, because you don't have time to be worried about who's ruling or what. You busy, you gotta go to work. All right, read on.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew.
But you couldn't stop it. Right? You know what I mean? You afflict us. You gave us work. You give us all this work. But eventually we got to go home. And we're going to keep multiplying. Okay? All right? That's part of our who we are as a people. All right? Our father Jacob had how many children? How many children our father Jacob had? 13. That's right. 13. Okay, we gonna multiply. Out of what? If one man had 13, right? Think about it, right? And you got 10 men in a room, all right? That's how much? If everybody had 13, I made it easy. 130. All right. That's how quick we started to build as a nation. All right. We had our children. All right. Esau right now tries to prevent us from having children. It gives us every reason not to have children. Gives us Planned Parenthood in our communities, right? They push what they call uncommitted sexual behavior on our children, right? They literally tell them when they get to high school they got to get rid of that V, right? Stop being a virgin, right? And then once they stop being a virgin, that's what they pushing what? Uncommitted sexual relations, which won't result in what? It won't result in children, because what you're going to take, if you know it's uncommitted, you're not going to want to raise a child by yourself, right? So they give you condoms, they give you birth control, they give you the morning after pill, they give you everything that you need so you can be sexually active without growing a family, all right? Everything you need. The sky's the limit. And if you mess up on all that, you can go to the clinic and get that taken care of, right? Right? That's another route. That's right. That's another route. Or you can have sexual activity with the same sex and you got to worry about getting pregnant. Right? That's why they pushing, two mommies. Mommy, what's this? Mommy, mama, and me type of pushing these things. But this is like the priest is bringing out, this is a non-violent takeover. Okay? This is a non-violent takeover. But they know violence is gonna be too, they don't want to be violent with us, right? Because we are excelling in number. So if it was all about violence, then they would run into a problem. They would lose a lot of lives. So they said, let's take over them without bringing the violence. All right? By pushing these things on them. Amor? Mm-hmm. Right. They don't. You gotta understand. The mindset is to have no children, right? But in our spirit of a people, we don't really feel right having no children, right? So we have 1, 2 children. You know what I mean? Because that's like a how could you say just us reaching out from the spirit, because it's pushed in society for us to have no children. Get your money, travel, right? Be an executive, give your body, your mind, your spirit to, what do you love to do? They ask you, right? What industry do you want to be a part of? They don't ask our children, listen, how you want to run your household, right? There's no home ec classes anymore in school. That went away in the what? What year? About probably the 60s. They stopped doing home ec. In 8th, all right, so they gave you home ec in 8th grade, right? In 8th grade. The 80s? 90s? Let's call it 90s. Right? But there was a time when it was all through your school years, you learned how to build a family, run a family, right? Not just financially, yes, but also, the roles of husband, wife, children, how to care for children, things of that sort, right? That's been set aside for your computer, okay, and your commerce and how to get paid, you know what I mean, and how to do these things, the falsehoods of what they call success. That's not being successful. Successful is having a wonderful family that's running smoothly. Scriptures say that a husband and wife that agree is one of the top most beautiful things in his sight, right? This is what the scriptures say about a family, but this is not pushed in society. They give you modern family where they got men and men and all kind of women and women, all kind of madness, right? So we got to be mindful of these things, that this is like preaching brought out, a passive gentrification. It's a passive thing trying to teach you not to grow your families, right? So, same thing in Egypt, right? That will never change. You know what I mean? You're going to reap what you sow. But people don't learn from that.
But you got to also understand that there's a certain elite that don't even care about their own people.
That's right.
You understand? So as long as if you're not with the Rockefeller, DuPont, the Gettys, those people, they could care less about what they call them poor
casualties.
White trash.
They just call them casualties.
They're casualties of war.
Casualties of war.
You understand? So you watch them like Born Indemnity, all these other movies. They show you how they put in implants, how they doing mind control in the military. Okay, how they do it with the all these drugs, they with the experiments. They could care less about these Kim Kardashians or all these other people like that. They could care less about them. These people are casualties of war. Okay, if you're not in the elite with the Gettys, the Rockefellers, then you're meaningless. Okay,
Expendable.
You're expendable with the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yep.
And we're the ones that's defending these other nations when they can care less about us.
They know who we are, though, right?
Of course, they know who we are, but do we know who we are? You understand? Do we know who we are? We don't know who we are. You understand? As Prophet Hosea said, we are destroyed for what? Lack of knowledge. Right? So we have to come back, but a lot of people are waking up in alarming rate. I had actually a pastor, he's probably watching now, called me from Orlando yesterday and said that spirit is moved him and he realized that he's a Hebrew Israelite. And he had a whole church, he shut it down. He said he could no longer teach that Christian thing anymore. He said Most High will, he says he's gonna come down next week to come fellowship with us. Right? But you're not too many pastors are gonna give up that type of thing to follow this truth. So when you see something like that, you know that this person really wants to teach the truth and is conscious of misleading the flock.
That's right.
More and more of our people are waking up and are leaving the church.
Right.
Now, what are those pastors going to do to try to ignore that? When we leave their churches, they're losing their money.
Well,
I think was it T.D. Jakes that he got a menorah? What do you got, like a Torah? He walking around with a Torah now. Eddie Long, before he died, he's walking around with a big Torah and a talit on. Listen, they're going to try, right? But you got to understand, greed going to take over. You know what I mean? They want that money, so they can go too far. You know what I mean? They want that money, and they're getting it. All right, they want the money, and they're getting the money. These pastors are billionaires. Okay, so don't get it. Don't think that just because they stay wrong in the scripture, they're gonna give up $1 billion. It ain't gonna happen. All right, that money is a lot more stronger than you may think. Then, all right. Right, just to ease the conscience of the people. Go ahead. Right.
Well, it's not really a law. What he's trying.
No, we're talking about people coming
Right.
out of the church.
Right.
Coming to the truth.
Right.
Yes, there's people that were not in the church at all, and they're not even a part of this understanding because they didn't know the Most High at all. Right. 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 Right.
But what I see what T.D. Jakes is doing, he's doing damage control. So
exactly.
He's noticing a lot of people are starting to question things because he even did a replica of the Ark of the Covenant. He had the cherubims and everything. You understand? So before they would try to ignore these things that lead back to our people, lead back to Israel, but now it's so much in their face that they can't ignore it anymore. So they got to try to start instituting this in their sermons because the people like, you got to be crazy. Or the people that you see there are strictly people that are dealing with prosperity ministry. Okay? If you don't have 6 figures in your account, you're not saying that the Lord is not blessing you.
Exactly.
Okay? Those are the type of people that they're attracting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And you have Hebrew communities out there, I'm not saying no names, but that are attracting some people that maybe leave the church that is still want to continue that prosperity ministry in Israel. Okay? We were not brought to America to be successful. Okay? We were brought to America for what purpose? Okay,
to be afflicted.
To be afflicted.
That's
what we're reading about right now. Exodus. We were brought here to be afflicted. Micah 2:10 said what? This is not our rest. Okay, come. Right. 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 Well, I went to a vocational technical high school. You understand? I did electromechanical design. I did naval architecture, for 2 years. You understand? They had automotive, they had blueprinting, they had electrical. Mm-hmm.
So you keep that as schools. You got men that could graduate from high school, have some kind of trade, they can go and pick up a job.
But that's not the purpose. Right now, America outsources all their labor. Okay, it's too much money to pay people here in America. You gotta give them a union. You gotta pay benefits. All I gotta do is go to Philippines and give somebody $1 an hour. Are you kidding me? You understand? Mathematically, business-wise, it just doesn't make sense. You understand? And in actuality, that is a disadvantage to us, because a lot of the so-called blue-collar jobs go to who? For our people. So what does that lead them to do? A life of crime. A life of crime. So that's what all this is, cycle. And that is what that keeps the jail system full of blacks and Hispanics. Okay. But it doesn't go around to the elite. It goes around to the casualties. Exactly. So it doesn't matter. As long as you don't touch the Rockefeller, DuPont, the Gettys, they're okay. Okay. Even Donald Trump. Donald Trump is being used by the powers that be. They don't care about Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's going to come a time where they're going to use him up to the point where they don't need him no more, and they're going to get rid of him too. Okay. So let's go back. Exodus 1, verse 12.
Time.
But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage,
right?
In mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field, all their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor.
Right. So what, they gave them more and more work. Okay, so they extended their work periods, and they made it that what it became rigorous. They upped the tally on what needed to be accomplished per day. So they made it like a more difficult work environment. All right. So this is what they did. When they wanted to weaken us as a people, they turned and gave us more work to do. That's a relationship that I need you to see. When they wanted to weaken us as a people, they gave us more work to do. They gave us longer hours. They gave us more rigorous jobs to do. And in that, they thought that this is a way to weaken the people. Okay, let's read.
Our people is opposite. Our people calling, hey, boys, we got overtime. Right? You got our people doing double shifts, overtime. Okay, so right now Esau is like, he's bugged out of his mind. Like, damn, we giving them all, and they asking for more hours. You understand? So they know in all this thing. Look how many people are in debt because of Christmas. Okay, how many people they ain't pay their rent because they trying to pay, trying to buy these. I was watching on online. Kanye bought Kim Kardashian a $14 million condo in Miami. $14 million. Okay, so this is the type of money these people are throwing around. While you got people out here in Miami, you got people right there on the beach homeless. Okay, you go downtown Miami, they're all in the streets. Okay, so it's not like there's not no money in circulation. Okay, but the money is being spent unwisely. That's why the Most High is going to have to destroy America. Okay, not to mention the flock. Even can you imagine? I was watching the Kodak Black interview with Ebro. He was talking about how he was just joking around. He said he didn't like that song he made, Flocking, because it was about Flocka. And actually things just blew up. And actually, and Bodak, that Carly B did, now it's a Grammy nomination, talking about how our people's hooked on Flocka has become a Grammy nominated song. Okay. And he's sitting back cheesing because he's getting royalties off that record. But they're laughing at the downfall of our people. And actually, not only that, we're going to give you an award for you making a song about your people being hooked on Flocka. You understand? He said that when Flocka came out, he said it made crackheads put the crack pipe down and jump on the Flocka. That thing is worse than crackhead, worse than crack.
Cheaper.
Right. 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 Yeah, everything you see designed, everything that comes out here, they sit back and say, listen, man, we put crackers, they're still multiplying. It's like the script, just like the script is saying. They gave us crack, let's get something more severe than crack. They came out with the Flocka. The Flocka was cheaper, more accessible. You understand? Let's get them hooked on it. But the Flocka is basically, what is it? Somebody was telling me what that was. Some basic, something you can find in your house. Huh? Yeah. Ajax, something like that, but it's some household product. Okay. Why you just go to the store and buy a whole can of Ajax yourself? Go and smile in the corner. But that's to show you how people are really messed up. Yeah, well, that figures. These nations hate us. They hate us with a perpetual hatred. Okay, so if the Most High did not cut the time short, okay, and redeem us, we would all be finished. Okay, and we have to pray the Most High keeps the angels encamped around us on a daily basis when we going out, when we coming in, because anything could befall us out in these streets. You see where we at in the middle of the hood. Okay, but the Most High keeps a hedge around us every time we're here. A lot of stuff that happen, maybe some of you are not here during the week, but a lot of stuff goes on out here during the week. People get stabbed, shot, okay, prostitution, drugs, everything. You name it, it all goes down in this area, okay? But it seems like when we're on the Shabbat day, everything's at peace. Hallelujah. You see, everything's at peace, but a lot of stuff goes down after dark when we're not here during the week. So we're at the 15th verse.
Okay.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shipra, and the name of the other Pu'ah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Right. So why did he want to kill the sons and not the daughters? Why did he want to kill the sons? Because the male carries the seed. So that shows you that these people already knew these things. That you are seed of your father. For your nation to continue, it has to come through your bloodline. Your bloodline is passed down through your father. Everybody understand that? All right. That's why they killed the males, or asked them to kill the males and let the females live. All right. That's a way of ethnic cleansing, trying to infiltrate us as a people. All right. Read.
But the midwives feared the Most High and
Right.
did not as the king of Egypt commanded them,
Right.
but saved the men, children alive.
Right. So what? The midwives didn't do it. All right. Because they feared who? The Most High. All right. These were Hebrew midwives. They said, nah, we ain't doing that. He crazy. All right. We're going to hide these children or something, but we ain't killing it. All right. Because they knew the punishment. What's the punishment for you killing? That's right. They know, thus saith the Most High. If you take a life, you're going to lose yours. All right. So them knowing this, they didn't want to be guilty of killing these children. All right, read.
And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, why have ye done this thing?
Right.
And have saved the men, children alive?
Right.
And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women,
Right.
but they are lively and are delivered.
Here.
The midwives come in unto them.
Right. So they say, they made an excuse and said, man, these women birthing their own babies. By the time we come in to birth the baby already born. They already got the baby. That was the excuse that they gave to Pharaoh. But we know that they said they weren't going to do it. All right, read on.
Therefore the Most High dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared the Most High, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Right.
Second chapter. And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi.
Right.
And the woman conceived, and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months.
Right.
And when she could not longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off to wit what would be done to him.
Right. So what? She had to get rid of this her son because she couldn't hide him anymore. Because they were what? They were killing the men children. They were throwing them into the river, drowning them. Okay, drowning the babies. You know what I mean? They did the same thing in here in America. Right? Gator bait is to throw our children, you know what I mean, our sons, into the water for the gators to eat them up. Okay, right here in America. Right? To show you that what the evil of the heathen don't change, man. Right? The heathen's been evil from the beginning, and they're going to be evil until the end. Right? Anybody thinking that, oh, those were back then? Some people give you that idea. Well, that was back then. People are different now. People are not different now than they were back then. Anybody understand that? They're the same spirits. They just operate in a different way. All right? All right, yeah, give me that. Get Deuteronomy 32, verse 7.
Deuteronomy 32 and 7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Right, so they're going to let you know that what? People are the same. These nations are the same. How they acted in the Old Testament is the same spirit in the New Testament and to this day. Okay, to this very day. All right. The devil's still the devil. Everybody understand that? Read on. All right, I sit on that. All right.
Exodus 2 and verse 5. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him and said, this is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that they may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
Right.
And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it.
Right. So she ended up what? Ended up being who? It ended up being Moses' what? Mother. That she ended up calling or employing to what? Nurse the baby. Because you know, a lot of people don't know that during being a nurser of a child was a occupation. Okay. Even in this kingdom it was. Even here in America it was. That our foreparents, right, our mothers used to nurse Esau's children, right? And nurse them with their milk, right? And bring them up. All right. So that was nothing unusual. But with the Egyptians, they said, find a what? Hebrew woman to what? Nurse this Hebrew baby. So they had at least they had that wisdom to say you should go get a Hebrew woman to nurse this Hebrew baby. All right, read.
Well, these nations have this infatuation with our people. Like there's that white actress that adopted the boy from Haiti, and got him dressed like a girl. Right? So they I don't know, they don't like their own people. They want to take our children, and because we have that spirit, the spirit on us. You understand? But what do they end up doing? Perverting us, seducing us. Okay, telling us that mommy, mom, and me. Okay. Yeah, exactly. For organs, sacrificing them. Okay. So, we got to beware of these people when they come in our communities.
Right.
So we got to be, looking both ways when you see them coming around. 10th verse. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son.
Right.
And she called his name Moses.
Right.
And she said, because I drew him out of the water.
Right. So he's called Moses, which means to be drawn from the water. Okay, that's how Moses got his name. Okay. All right. So Moses is now growing as Pharaoh's daughter's son. Okay, which would make him what to Pharaoh? Like his grandson. Okay. So he's looking at Moses as Moses is my grandson, growing in Pharaoh's house. All right, read.
And this is another key to show you that about the Hebrews being what? Of color. Okay, how can Moses pass? Like we were at camp the other day, and we had Amalek actually out there. He was honest that said, we're the real Jews, right? And then the other one, oh, you're not reading in the Hebrew. When I went to Exodus about when Moses put his hand in his bosom, you understand? So he fled after that one. You understand? So how can Moses have been raised, if the Egyptian are of color, how can Moses have been raised in the kingdom, okay, as an Egyptian if he was white, if he was a Caucasian? Okay, so you go through these simple things with Amalek, they get confounded. Okay. 11. And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out unto his brethren. Did I skip something?
No, you're right.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown that he went out and his brethren and looked on their burdens and spied an Egyptian smiting in Hebrew, one of his brethren. Mm-hmm. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian and hid him in the sand.
Right. So what? He saw an Egyptian taskmaster kill an innocent Hebrew man. Right. So when Moses saw this act of injustice, he was so enraged that he went himself and killed that Egyptian that killed that man. Right? He executed the law of a man that killeth a man. Right? Let's get that law real quick. Was it? So, all right. Exodus 21:12? Oh, I thought it was on Leviticus. Exodus 21:12. Okay. Exodus 21, verse 12.
Exodus 21:12. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
Right. Shall be what?
Surely put to death.
Right. Shall surely be put to death. So when he saw this man murder this Hebrew for no reason, right? No justification or reason, he said this man must surely be put to death. Right. And also Leviticus 24 and 17. So I'll take Leviticus 24:17. Read that also. Leviticus 24, verse 17.
Leviticus 24:17. And he that killeth any man shall surely be put to death.
Right. He that killeth any man shall surely be put to death. So what? This is talking about murder. This is talking about without just cause, without war. This is talking about you just, murdering somebody, taking them out, whether it be through envy or strife or to whatever the matter is, jealousy, right? There's many reasons why men kill men, all right? Or people kill people, I should say. But if you kill someone, right, out of anger, out of malice, right, then you are going to be, you are punishable by death. That crime is punishable by death. Okay, so keep that in mind. We glorify, murder in this kingdom. But murder is a death sentence. Everybody understand that?
What we call that 817? They got
or 187 on the undercover cop.
187. They got the tear dropping on their face.
Right.
It's like a badge of courage. Like I took somebody's life.
Right.
The Most High, there's a penalty for that.
Right.
13 verses, Exodus 2 and 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, wherefore smitest thou thy fellow?
Right.
And he said, who made thee a prince and judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian?
Right. So he went to go deal with a matter he saw going down between 2 brothers. They said, man, and he said, why are you doing this? Why y'all fighting? Right? Because we're not supposed to be striving with one another. Everybody understand that? What does it mean to be striving? What is that talking about? Noah? Huh? Say it louder. No, not holding grudges. What's it talking about? No. What kind of fight? Fist fight. Physically fight. We're not supposed to be physically fighting one another. This is what Moses saw. He saw 2 brothers physically going fisticuffs, as they call it, right? Right? They was brawling. All right, they was physically getting into the altercation here. Okay. All right, scriptures say that we're not to be a striker. Okay. That's where his word, not to be a striker. Hold on, I don't know that one on top of my head. Right? We can't go around, knocking people out. You know what I mean? Slug. I get it for you right now. What you got? Say Colossians 3 and 12. Who? Yeah, 3 and 1. Timothy's. Colossians 3 and 12.
First Timothy 3 and verse 1. This is a true saying. If a man desire the office of a bishop, he desire a good work. A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach, not given to wine, nor striker, nor greedy or filthy lucre, but patient, not a brawler. Not
a what?
Not a brawler.
Right, can't be a brawler, a striker. All right, smiting someone or striking someone is not something that we need to do. But that verse is more about being a bishop, or I'm looking for the law or smiting. That's not. Hold on. Hold on. (21:18) Exodus. Yeah, I get that. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron, he should die. He's. You also look at Numbers 35. Numbers 35. Numbers 35. Yeah. Yeah.
Numbers 35 and 16. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron, so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death.
Right. So we're not supposed to smite one another. And if you smite someone that they died, then you're what? You're considered a murderer. You took someone's life unjustly. All right. And you are, the punishment for that is you ought to be put to death. Okay.
Well, if you read down, it just lists different ways that if you kill a person, it's worthy of death. The next 4 verses.
All right, let's go back.
Exodus 2 and 14. And he said, who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known. Now when the Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh.
So at that time, Moses realized, okay, everybody knew what happened. He thought nobody was there, nobody saw when he killed the Egyptian, but he said, truly this thing is known, meaning that what? This word has got out. Somebody saw me kill that Egyptian. But remember, what did he do with the body after he killed the Egyptian, Moses? He buried the body. So he said, nobody could have found the body. Somebody had to see me smite this Egyptian for his wickedness. All right. So Pharaoh found out that Moses is killing people. Pharaoh's after him too. All right. So that was not tolerated. All right. Read.
Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priests of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flock. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, how is it that ye are come so soon today? And they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that he hath left the man? Call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man. And he gave Moses Zipporah, his daughter.
All right. So what? Moses got his daughter as what? As his first wife. All right. Zipporah was Moses' first wife. Everybody understand that? Okay. So when they met up, Moses helped out. So what nation was Zipporah from? Midian. Midian. All right. Of the Midianites. All right. Which I believe were the sons of Shem, right? Right. Out of Shem. So she was a Midianite out of the Shemite, or which is part of the well, the lineage of Midian. That's coming from what? Yeah, but they're coming out of Abraham, right? It was okay. All right. So read on.
And he said unto his daughters, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the man? Call him that he may eat bread.
Mm-hmm.
And Moses was content to dwell with the man. And he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershom, for he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of bondage.
So what was Moses' first son name? Gershom. Okay. Good information here. All right. So Moses' first son is Gershom. The mother was Zipporah. Okay. That's his first wife. And she was a Midianite. The Midianites were Hebrews. That's why Midianites, they kept law, statute, commandments. How did they learn law, statute, commandments, the Midianites? Through who? Through who? Through Abraham. Right? Abraham have a son. He's gonna teach his son. His son gonna teach his son, and that information is passed down. Okay, they were law-abiding people, the Midianites. Okay, read.
And the children of Israel sighed by reason of bondage, and they cried. And their cry came unto the Most High by reason of the bondage.
Mm-hmm.
And the Most High heard their groaning, and the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them.
Right, he had respect unto them. I mean, that what? He chose them. To have respect on a particular person or thing means you chose them. I mean, you know what? I like this better. So he had respect on them and say, you know what? It's time for me to come for my children. These are mine, the children of Israel, amongst the Egyptians. So he didn't have respect onto the Egyptian. Everybody understand that? Right? Another word for respect in the Bible is honor. Right? So he had honor for the Israelites, but he did not have it for the Egyptians. All right, read.
And the Most High heard their groaning, and the Most High remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And the Most High looked upon the children of Israel, and the Most High had respect unto them. 3rd chapter. Now Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, and the priests of Midian. And he fed the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of the Most High.
So what was Jethro's occupation? What was he? He was a shepherd. He was a priest. All right. Remember, Jethro was a priest. He just wasn't anybody. All right. He was a priest of Midian. Okay. Noah. Father-in-law. Right. Zipporah's father. Right. That's right. No. It's not Cushite. What lineage does Midian come from? Huh? What lineage does he come from? Shem. They're not from Ham. They're from Shem. Out of who? Out of who? Abraham. All right. One of his concubines' sons. When Moses came out, right, of Egypt, right? Let me get a map. Yeah. Does it one? I need a map. Yeah, I'm showing where Midian is at. We say get Genesis 25, verse 1.
Genesis 25 and verse 1. Then again, Abraham took a wife, and her name was Keturah.
Right?
And she bare him Zimran,
Mm-hmm.
and Jokshan, and Medan, and Midian.
And who?
And Midian.
And Midian. All right. So do we see where Midianites is going to come from? Midianites means what? Family of. Con? So where they come out of? Out of what bloodline? Abraham. Not of Cush. Right? Remember, he said he's going to be a father of many nations. That's true. Okay. All right. See that? This is where the land of Midian is. Right? The land of Midian is eastward from Egypt, past the peninsula, the wilderness of Sin, on the other side of the Gulf. So that's where Midian is at, right? South of Edom and Moab and all those other areas. Okay. I believe this land right here today is called what? Saudi Arabia, right? Yeah, that's Saudi Arabia today, where it says Sinai Peninsula. That today is Saudi Arabia. So on the east side of the water, right outside of Saudi Arabia, is a Midian. All right. Water. All right, let's go back to 3, Exodus 3.
Exodus 3 and 1. And Moses kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of the Most High, even to Horeb.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of Yah appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of the bush, a bush.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
Right, so there was a light like fire, right? But it wasn't actual fire, right? Because the bush would have been consumed. So there was a light that looks like fire when the angel came to converse with Moses. Okay, so now, where did we get, what is this light from? Where did we see this light? All right, this light always come about when the angels come about? Is this a common occurrence? Right? Because when the angel came, when we were fleeing out of Egypt, what did it say it looked like in the sky? Fire. It looked like fire. Right? Any account of the chariots of the Most High, you're going to see it being what? Compared to fire. All right? So, Esau does his little antics and try to light a bush on fire. The bush itself was not on fire. All right? It's the light from the chariot. Everybody understand that? It's being described. Remember, the things are written or what they saw as they wrote to describe what they saw. So it was like unto fire. It looks like it was on fire, but it wasn't being consumed. So because it was not on fire. But the light that rayed from this bush, right, was a light that comes from what? The angels and from the chariots. Okay. We have many examples throughout the scriptures, right, to show that light, it looks like fire. Okay. All right, let's read.
And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Most High saw that he turned aside to see, the Most High called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Right. So what was Moses going to do? When he saw this bush that looked like it was on fire, but he saw it wasn't on fire because it wasn't being consumed, what did he say he was doing? No. To it, like how? He was going to see where this light, he was going to walk around it. Because he's trying to see where's this light coming from? Where's this, looks like fire coming from? And the Most High stopped him and said, "Oh, whoa, whoa, Moses, right? Don't come hither, right? Don't come around here, right?" So you gotta get the mental picture in your mind that you got a bush and you got this light raying through this bush as if it's almost on, like it's on fire. Moses is going around to see where's this light coming from. He said, "Nah, Moses, right? Stay right there. Take the shoes off thy feet, for thou hast entered hollow ground." Right? You're in the presence of the angel of the Most High God. So you have to prepare yourself. You just can't walk up like that. All right? Let's read.
Moreover, he said, I am Yahweh, thy power of thy father, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob.
Right?
And the Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon the Most High.
Right?
And the Most High said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the hand, out of that land, unto a good land, and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
Come on.
Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me. And I've also seen the oppression whereof the Egyptians oppressed them.
Right.
Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt.
So what's the two things that compelled the Most High said compelled him to want to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? What's the two things that he said? The what? The oppression of the Egyptians and what? And the cry of Israel. The oppression of the Egyptians and the cry of Israel. So if we today are trying to get out of this kingdom, right? The Most High has seen the oppression upon our people, but are we crying to the Most High? All right. The cry of Israel needs to go up. Everybody understand that? We need to pray. When all you pray, make sure you're praying for deliverance from your enemies. Everybody understand that? You're praying that the Most High come, right? That your enemies be destroyed. That what? This kingdom come to an end. Don't be so comfortable here. Everybody understand that? All right. They weren't comfortable in Egypt. The cry was going up. All right. The injustices that they were suffering under the hand of the Egyptians. The Most High sees this. We think the Most High, he don't take coffee breaks. He see what's going on in here in this kingdom. But that cry has to go up. All right, let's read.
But that's why when we're reading the history here that America's that actual Egypt,
that's right.
Because we wasn't in ancient Egypt 400 years. So that actual Egypt is talking about here in America. That's why Esau continues to give our people these record deals. They have these guys $50 million to dribble a basketball down the court. Okay, because you're not going to think, well, I'm in captivity here in America. You understand? That's the farthest thing from their mind. People not wanting to leave America. That's why Scripture say what? This is not our rest. You understand? The more we get more comfortable, because we're talking about we're waiting for Yahweh Shai to return to bring us back. But guess what? In actuality, who's really doing the waiting? He's waiting for us, right? He's waiting for us to get ourselves together, right? So we have to detach ourselves from this setup. All these, like our people now, you got Negroes simply, well, I don't celebrate Christmas, I celebrate Kwanzaa. Okay, so you got a lot of our people, black people, hooked up in this Kwanzaa thing, which was created, was 1966. Okay, Kwanzaa. Okay, takes on the principles of Hanukkah. Okay, so this is another holiday that our people are lost in. They say, well, I don't celebrate Christmas. That's a white man's holiday. I'm celebrating Christmas. I'm celebrating Kwanzaa. Okay, so this is more folly that our people are into. Okay, so we gotta detach ourselves away. Okay, put our vision, our sight on Zion. Okay, the other nations, Well, when I go to the going through customs, when I get to Israel, they're like, "What are you doing here? Who are you coming to see?" Okay. Not only did they steal the land, but they don't even want you to come visit. Okay. So they're gonna say, you know what, we're gonna steal the land, and we don't even want you to come here and visit.
Don't even come here.
I remember one time I was there with Bunyambi, and I think they gave him like a 2-week visa. They're like, we don't want. They gave him like a 2-week visa. I mean, that was like, I mean, it got to the point where what they try to do, they try to antagonize you. You know, like a cop pull you over and then charge you with a resisted arrest because he's harassing you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they try to do. They try to get you so upset that you make yourself get sent back. Because if you can go, because I was sitting there, I was like, they detained me for about a half an hour, whatever. So they had a so-called Arab, a young Arab young lady, and they told her, like, listen, they can consider you a threat to security, and they don't have to give you a visa. Okay, and if you have a non-refundable ticket, you out of luck. They put you back on that flight, and you lose your money. Okay, so it's not mandatory that you travel anywhere that they actually give you a visa. Like some countries allow you to apply for a visa before you actually get there. So at least you know you got your visa before you reach. But some places that they only allow you to get the visa when you're at the airport. So if they decide that you're a security threat, they don't have to let you in. Okay, so these are the things how Esau control. They control all the borders. Mm-hmm. So we're back at 3 and 11.
5, yeah. Oh, 3:11. I was lucky.
And Moses said unto the Most High, who am I, and that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?
Right.
And he said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee, that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve the Most High upon this mountain. And Moses said unto the Most High, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, the Most High of your fathers have sent me unto you.
Right.
And they shall say to me, what is his name?
Right.
What shall I say unto them?
Come on.
And the Most High said unto Moses, I am that I am.
Right. He said, I am that I am. Okay. Read on.
And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am have sent me unto you.
Right.
And the power the Most High said moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel.
Right. So he said, moreover. So at first he told him, I am that I am. Right. Ashar ahaya ashar. Right. Meaning I am that I am. All right. So what? In when you transliterate that into English, right, it means I exist. Right. I exist. Right. So say the power that exists sent me on to you. Tell them that power sent you. But he said, moreover, so they understand exactly who I am. Read on.
And the Most High said, moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh, power of your fathers, the power of Abraham, the power of Isaac, and the power of Jacob, have sent me unto you.
Right.
This is my name.
This is my what?
This is my name.
This is my name. Read on.
Forever.
For how long?
Forever.
So what is the name of the Most High? What did he say his name was? What did he say his name was? Give me one person. Raise their hand. Manatazar. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said, that is my name. Tell them that's my name. Okay. For how long? Forever. All right. Very clear instruction is given there. The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is my name forever. All right. We got to be mindful of that because we know there's doctrines out there, right, that have caused separation in the nation, all kind of madness, because they try to take one scripture and make a whole idea about this, a whole religion off of it, right? Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya is a name that he put out there, right, that describes who he is. He's talking about who he is.
Right.
I am that I am describes who he is. He's the only power that really exists. Right? All the other powers are what? There's only one power, okay? So he let you know the real power has sent me. The only power that exists. There's only one power that exists. This we know, this is scriptural. Right? Give me Psalms. Psalms. (96 and 5). Start with 4.
Psalms 96, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For the Most High is great
Uh-huh.
and greatly to be praised.
Right.
He is to be feared above all gods.
Right.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Or what?
Are idols.
All the gods, all the other thing you heard mention of anybody else is an idol. There's only one power. Read on.
But Yahweh made the heavens.
Right. But Yahweh made the heavens. So he said, I am that power. I exist. I am that power. Okay. All those other powers don't exist. Everybody understand that? All the other powers don't exist. All the other powers are idols, or the imagination of men. There's only one power that exists. Is that clear? All right. Because if you give any other power, any other name, power, then you're making it exist, existing in your mind. And then you're guilty of what? Idolatry. Okay. There's one power, Yahweh. All things from Yahweh. Okay. There's no rival to Yahweh. All things are created by the Most High and do his bidding. All right. We got to be clear in that understanding. Okay. All right. So this is what he's telling Moses. I am the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I'm the power that exists. Okay.
Right, the Most High, he's bragging, he's boasting.
That's right.
You understand? When you read the scripture, there is a book of wars. Right? He said his name is dreadful amongst the nations. So when other nations heard of the God of Israel, people got scared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just like when they even fixing their mouth to say Yahweh, people start trembling, people fainting, giving up the spirit. You understand? So the Most High is letting you know. He's like, you ever see people in the boxing ring? How Muhammad Ali used to like taunt people. You understand? He used to do psychology. Muhammad Ali would actually psychologically beat you before the fight started. He'll get in your mind. So then you start even doubt, can I really beat this guy? You understand? So the Most High is taunting, let you know that that's why he come back and say what? The gods of these other nations are idols. Mm-hmm. Right? Even when you go into Isaiah 45 and 6, he said, there's no one but me.
That's right.
Okay? There's nobody but me. All these other people are they're vain. Why even worship these things? Okay? So there's no other power. So that's why it's important that when you go out there, they say, well, what God you represent? The what? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's a distinction. Okay? When they come up and talk about they all different gods, there's only one true and living God. The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's who we defend. Because that term or that when you use that word God, okay, that's just a title. But who do we serve? The God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and God of Jacob, the only true and living God. Okay? Anything else is vain. Anything else is an idol. Okay? It's worthless. So we're back in Exodus 3.
We just read 3:15, 3:16.
16. Go and gather the elders of Israel together and say unto them, Yahweh, that power of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you and seen that which is done to you in Egypt. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt and unto the land of the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites unto a land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come and thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and ye shall say unto them, Yahweh power of the Hebrews have met with us, and now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to Yahweh our power. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go, no, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that, he will let you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptians. And it shall come to pass that when ye go, ye shall not go empty, but every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and of jewels of gold, and raiment, and ye shall put them upon your sons and upon your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians.
Mm-hmm. What does it mean to spoil the Egyptians? That's right. Take their stuff. All right. So it was set up by the Most High that we're going to come out of Egypt and we're going to leave there with their stuff. We're going to spoil them, right? Because the Most High had a plan for the children of Israel. And that plan involved us having items that was in Egypt at the time. All right. Everything for a purpose. All right. We later on learned the purpose of why we left with all the gold and silver and all those things. We learned later on how those things was used to purge out some of the rebels that was amongst Israel. But for right now, we're just being told to take these things. Right? Go ahead.
Like even the injustice that we have today, we never got our 40 acres and 2 mules.
That's it.
Right? All the other nations, you got people talking about, well, 6 million Jews.
We're going to get a lot more than that.
Okay? They talk about 6 million, but when we mention slavery, they say what? Well, that's the past. Mm-hmm. Okay? Let bygones be bygones. Can't we all just get along? Okay? Mm-hmm. Why is it that the other nations, they talk about Nagasaki, Hiroshima when America dropped the bomb on them?
Yep.
All these nations get reparations. Okay, the Jewish people, they get reparations from Germany. Okay, the Japanese, they get money from America. So why is it that we're the only ones that are not being reparated? That's because when we read the book of Ezekiel, right? They know, like we said earlier, they know who we are. They know that we are being punished by the Most High God. Okay, so they feel like they don't have to give us anything. Okay, but the Most High said he's going to punish them. Why? Because they furthered the affliction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they went extra. Okay, Trump goes extra. Okay, he goes that extra mile to let you know that you're a Negro. Okay, come.
If they know that they're going to get extra punishment for what they're doing, then why?
Because in their sick little mind, they feel like they're going to beat Christ and holy angels when they come back.
That's right.
Okay, they got their stealth bombs, they got their army, their navy. They think their technology is so sophisticated that they're going to beat Christ and the holy angels.
Listen, they going to Mars anyway. They out of here.
What?
Huh? They're out of here, man.
Listen, Esau, he tries everything. His technology, the Most High gave him these things. You understand? To the point where they even, I don't know, this clone thing, people talk about on YouTube. I don't know. You understand? So, I mean, that's the last thing that, as far as bringing life, that Esau is trying to accomplish. Everything else, the Most High gave him technology to do. Mm-hmm. You understand? So, there's nothing beyond Esau's technology right now. Okay, but the same technology the Most High gave them is what? The same technology is going to bring them down. Because why all these? I mean, they got what these MOB bomb, mother of all bombs. Okay, why do you need one of these bombs can annihilate all these countries? They built so many bombs that it can blow up America 50 times over. Mm-hmm. Okay, but think about it. America has missiles pointed at all these countries, right? But all these countries have missiles pointed at America because America is the common enemy of all these other countries. Okay? They are the common enemy of all these other countries. When you read the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, they said the nations, they wailing at when they see America up in smokes. Why? Because where's the United Nations building based at? When you have the stock trade every morning, 9 a.m. they ring this bell. When that stock, you got all these white people watching the stock market, how the stocks go up and down. Where's that control at? Right here in America. Okay, America controls all the commerce in all these other countries. So when America goes down, all these other nations, they're going to bewail. Okay, it's going to be a sad day in the stock market. White people, if you think you saw people committing suicide, wait till that day, jumping off the building. Okay, slitting their wrists. Okay, they'll do anything before I'll kill myself before I'll serve a nigga. That's what they're going to say. Okay, there's no way in life they want to serve a nigga. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna take their own life.
That's it. Fall on their own sword.
Can we just say that our obedience, God is in charge.
Right.
So our obedience of us, all we gotta do, we can end this.
Exactly.
But the problem is, this is our book. The book is telling us what we have to do.
But you're saying we don't know who we are. What I'm saying, we do not know who we are.
We have to do what we're doing now. We have to bring everybody together so they understand.
But you can't bring a person together or who they are to who they are if they reject. Remember this to tell you that we have forsaken our nationality, our heritage. Okay, we telling people that listen, you're a children of Israel, you're a chosen people, you're a royal people. No, I'm a Negro. Okay, we had it the other day. We was out there on South Beach. Why do you keep saying us? Why do you keep saying us? I'm like, I say, yo, you children of Israel. Why you keep saying us? Okay, they do not. We will read Isaiah, right? An ox of his owner, a donkey's master's crib. But what? Israel doth not know. We don't consider. Right? So how could you bring them together? Because the scripture said, gather together who? They not desire what nation? But if you're denying to be Israel, how could you be gathered together? Because you still want to hang out with the Chinese, with the Japanese, with the white man. The Most High tells us to what? To separate ourselves. Okay? But we want to be interracial. We want to have jungle fever. Okay? So when I do the Ebony and Ivory dance, they get excited. They love that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They love the Ebony and Ivory dance. They love that stuff. You know, holding hands. Okay, jungle fever. Can't we all just get along? They love that spirit. You understand? But the Most High came to bring separation. Okay, that's a whole nother spirit. The Most High is not dealing with that spirit. Exodus the 4th chapter. And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me nor hearken unto my voice, but they will say, the Most High have not appeared unto thee. And the Most High said unto him, what is it that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it.
Right.
And the Most High said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yahweh thy power of thy fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, have appeared unto thee.
Right, because you got to understand, Israel is a rebellious people, man. They ain't gonna believe him. Talking about the Most High sent him. He's gonna have to endow him with power for the people to convince the people to walk with him.
Seek for a sign.
Right? Right. Like I said, the wicked generation seeketh for a sign. Right. So he had to come with a sign. He said, these people ain't gonna believe me. Israel not one to follow after anybody. All right. You're gonna have to prove, you gotta give me power to prove to the people that Yahweh is with us. All right. And once that's proven, then they will say, okay, truly the Most High is with us. But it's not gonna be quick, it's not gonna be easy. All right, because our people are rebellious, man. You know what I mean? Even if it sound right, that don't matter. You're gonna have to have some sort of proof. All right. All right, read.
The Most High said furthermore unto him, put thou now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
Right.
And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river and pour it upon the dry land. And the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
Right.
And Moses said unto the Most High, O my other one, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou have spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue.
Right.
And the Most High said unto him, who have made man's mouth, or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not the Most High? Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say.
Right.
And he said, O my other one, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. And the anger of the Most High was kindled against Moses, and he said, is not Aharon the Levite thy brother?
Right.
I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart.
Right. So he's like, man, he started getting angry with Moses. Why? Because Moses was what? Doubting. He was doubting. That's the main word. He was doubting. With all that the Most High was giving him, showing him, hand in the bosom, dropped the rod on the floor, turned to a snake, he still said, I can't do this. I can't speak. I can't do it. I can't do it. Sometimes we count ourselves out. They make the Most High angry with you, man. Because don't you have faith? Your faith should say, yo, you can do it. But he said, you know what? Since you still doubting with all these signs, listen, Aaron is a slick talker, right? We're going to put Aaron. He's quick with the speech, right? He'll be able to deal with these people. Some people don't, they talk slower, right? You know, to get their information across. And so there's somebody who's a better speaker, when they go to the forefront, right? And they speak. Right, as long as they're speaking the things of the Most High, and the Most High being glorified, is all good. Con, all right, read on.
And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what ye shall do.
Right. So he said, listen, you tell him what to say, and then he'll say it, because he's more eloquent in speech. Read.
And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people.
Right.
And he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of a power.
Right. So what? What's the order now? Is who's above Aaron or Moses? Who's above Moses, right? He said, Moses, you're going to be like a God to Aaron. Aaron's going to be your spokesperson, right? And I'm going to be a God to you. I'm going to tell you what to say. You tell it to Aaron, right? Aaron is the best one to speak, so let's do it this way. All right? Read on.
And thou shalt take this rod in thy hand, and wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moses went and returned to Jethro his father-in-law, and said unto him, let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, go in peace.
Right.
And the Most High said unto Moses and Midian, go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life.
Right.
And Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon a donkey and returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of the Most High in his hand. And the Most High said unto Moses, when thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou do all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
Right.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Most High, Israel is my son.
Israel is my what?
Israel is my son.
Israel is my son. Read on.
Even my firstborn.
So what is the right of the firstborn son? The inheritance, right? So he said, say this unto Pharaoh that the Most High is concerned with Israel. He's the firstborn. He's the most important. All right. He gets the blessing. He gets the reward. Read on.
And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me.
Let my what?
That he may serve me.
That he may serve me. Right? In order for us to serve the Most High fully and properly, we had to come out of Egypt. We had to come out of the bonds so that we can what? We have that clear communication with the Most High without all the confusion and all the misunderstanding that you get because you're around these other nations. Okay, read.
And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. And it came to pass by the way in the end that the Most High met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Right.
So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision. And the Most High said to Aharon, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of the Most High and kissed him. And Moses told Aharon all the words of the Most High who had sent him and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moses and Aharon went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel.
Right.
And Aharon spake all the words which the Most High had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people.
So he did it over again, right? So he got all the elders together. He showed them the hand and the bosom. He threw the staff down and became a snake. He picked it back up. He did all that for what? For the elders of Israel, so they would be on board with what he's about to go do. So they had to have like a little council, right? And had Aaron to speak to them, saying, "Hey, listen, this is what's going on." So he didn't just Moses and Aaron go into Egypt. They first went and dealt with the elders. Everybody understand that? And they got a council going. All right, and very important that we see these things because this is how things are done in order, right? You come together with those that are of great mind or have great reputation in Israel, and deal with them first. Then go deal with the masses. Okay, then they went and dealt with the masses. Now they had a unified front when they went to the people, saying, "Listen, there's a believed and the believers already come." All right, already have come, setting up before the people. All right, read.
And the people believed, and when they heard that the Most High had wished the children of Israel, and that the hand looked upon their affliction, and they bowed down their heads and worshiped.
Right, they bowed down and worship. Why? Because they seen that what? If all these elders believe it, this got to be so. Okay. The scriptures tell us that there's safety in a multitude of counselors. All right. It's very important that we understand and that we use these examples, right, to learn ourselves on how to guide out to move in this time in our spirit, right? What is that? Safety in a multitude of counselors. I want to see it's in the Apocrypha. Anybody got that verse for me? Safety in a multitude of counselors. Proverbs 11, 14. Let me see that. I think that's right. All right, Proverbs 11, 14. Right, Khan. Read that.
Proverbs 11 and 14.
Read.
Where no counsel is, the people fall.
Right, where no counsel is, the people fall. Why is that? Why would you fall where there's no counsel? There's no advice. What else? There's no unity. There's no order. All these things can't exist without counsel. Everybody understand that? So the Father set us up that, listen, you got to have counsel. So you know which way you're going, that the way you're going is correct. All right. So he said, where no counsel is, the people fall. Read on.
But in a multitude of counselors,
But in a multitude of counselors, mean a lot of counsel. Read on.
there is safety.
There is safety. All right. In a multitude of counselors, there is safety. When there are those that you can counsel with, get this information, get corrected, get sharpened. All right. There's another scripture that tells us that what? Iron sharpeneth iron. Right? Proverbs 27 and 17. I think we went over that Wednesday, right? Proverbs 27 and 17. Read that.
Proverbs 27 and 17.
Right?
Iron sharpeneth iron.
Right?
So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
Right. A man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So this is why Moses and Aaron went and got the elders first before they went before the children of Israel. They had set up counsel, all right? Showed them everything before they went before Pharaoh and everything, right? Rehearsed everything, talking about everything about the bush, you know what I mean? Everything that went down, Moses told it all to them. They were convinced, and then they went to the people. Okay? So you had the believed and the believers that went to the people, right? So this is order, and this is according to what the Most High has already told us, that we must have counsel. Everybody understand this? All right. One more verse on that. Get in the Apocrypha. 37, Sirach 37, 16. 37, 16. Sirach 37, verse 16.
Sirach 37 and 16.
Come on.
Let reason go before every enterprise.
Right.
And counsel before every action.
Right. And counsel before every action. Okay. Reason go every enterprise and counsel before every action. Very important that we understand that. Okay. So it's 3:00 at this right now. We're going to take the break. Before we take the break, is there any announcements? Marsha, that I should be aware of? New moon is when? Next week, Saturday. All right. Sundown is new moon. All right. So next week, Saturday, sundown is new moon. So we're going to have to do the preparation today. All right. What else we got? Any other announcements? Okay. We have a test here for, where's it? We'll test that out. Oh, okay. We have the test here for Genesis. For those of everybody gonna participate in the test, huh? All right, so we got a Genesis test here. You know how we do it. You hand me your phone, you get the test. All right. This is a open book, open notes, closed phone test. Okay. Why would take your phone? To avoid, your Google searches. Okay. And if anybody can sit there and just Google the answers. What you want to determine is how much have you retained and you've learned from Scripture. Okay. Well, I tell them that. Well, yeah. Yeah, I'll tell my after. All right. Any announcements out here? Anybody got any announcements for the congregation before we break? Generally, when we do it on Saturday, we will start a little bit later. All right. Get what they need and get themselves together. So 8 o'clock. Yeah, 8 o'clock. Any other announcements?
We just, LOZ wants to extend again, condolences to, his skill and his family for the loss of his mother-in-law. As a family, we all mourn together. So, just keep him and his family in prayer. Your thoughts, throughout the weeks, and we be there for each other in these time of loss.
Con. All right. I think that's we know that's already known. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna take the break. All right. So as we take the break, you want to take the test, you come up, bring your phone. I'll give you a test paper, and that's what we'll do it. All right. Hallelujah. All right. Good.